Alright guys, how are you doing? So yeah, I wanted to make this video. This is just going to be going out to certain people. This is not going to be a YouTube video. But I just wanted to talk about this experience that I've had over the past, unbelievably, five days. A couple of practitioners actually mentioned about these patches to me a few months back, to be honest. And I've heard about patches before. These aren't actually patches where something goes into your body, by the way. I'll explain about how it actually works soon. But they tried to get me to take these patches, and I was like, no, and I feel good. You know what I mean? Well, I feel great, really, in general. Well, I thought I did, but I've gone up a few levels, I think. But I'll explain that. Yeah, so I'm like, no, I don't want to take the patches. Do you know what I mean? I feel good. I don't want to take anything that's gonna ruin all this effort that I've put in over the past 10 years. Do you know what I mean? I've heard about people selling patches before in the past, like Thrive patches and stuff, and that turned out to be a scam. Blah de blah de blah. But anyway, this particular practitioner was badgering me. I've got to try them, and I've heard about this particular copper peptide before. I had a client that ended up either injecting himself with this peptide or something else, and he got in touch with me because he was just having crazy symptoms, and he was going through some sort of crazy dump, but I think because he injected it, it sort of acted differently than how these particular patches work, which I'll explain. But anyway, cut a long story short, got the patches, tried them on, and within an hour I could definitely feel something. I've written down a lot of the process. In the beginning, to be honest, I personally started having a healing reaction, which I found quite astounding, really, because usually whenever you're trying something, it doesn't happen so quick. But yeah, if you read some of these testimonials, I mean, people's chronic pain in 30 years just literally gone within 10 minutes. People having regenerating livers, COPD, emphysema, benzo withdrawals. The testimonials are amazing, really, and it happens so quick as well, which is quite mind-blowing. But I'll explain about how they actually work, so you'll get a better idea of what's actually going off. I personally think this is what Dr. Wilson's experiencing when it talks about development, and I'll explain the reasons why in this video. But day one, I started having some healing reactions, which I was quite impressed with, to be fair, because I was like, well, this is pretty cool. I mean, the fact that it's giving me sort of healing reactions, So I got a sore throat on day one, and I felt this sort of brain massaging. Or maybe I should explain. Yeah, maybe I'll explain the technology first and how it works, and then talk about what actually happened to me. So basically, what it is, it's a patch, and it has like a crystalline structure on it. And our bodies, as you all probably know, we're sort of light beings, and we emit light, and we emit infrared light, and that infrared light, this patch basically reflects that infrared light back into our system, but it's reflected at a very, very specific frequency, and this particular patch reflects back that infrared frequency to stimulate a peptide called GHKCU. It's a copper peptide, and what this peptide does is it binds to copper. Basically, it has a really strong affinity to copper and binds to copper. But what it also does is it stimulates the body's own stem cells. Now, back in the 70s, a scientist called Lauren Picard, I think that's how you pronounce it, got some liver cells of an 80-year-old person and put them in a 20-year-old person's blood, and they found that the liver cells began to regenerate themselves back to to a 20-year-old, and they found out the reason being was this particular peptide called GHK, which stimulates stem cells. So basically, this GHK stimulates your body's stem cells to regenerate itself. So any issue that you've got in your body, it will basically go to that area and fix it. Now, what's mind-blowing about this particular peptide is that it binds to copper, and in the program, that's all we try and do is balance out copper, and it's so difficult to do. And often it takes a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years, and it's pretty random when that happens. So the downside of doing it in this way, in my opinion, is that when copper goes into the blood, people get horrendous symptoms, traumatic symptoms, because there's nothing ready to catch the copper in the blood. So you get this very powerful copper running around the body, causing massive oxidative stress, killing pretty much anything in sight, and causing horrendous symptoms for people. But using this method, the light therapy, which is also good as well, it's not toxin based. The light therapy will stimulate the production of GHK, and then that goes and basically balances out the copper in the cells. It pulls copper out the cells. But the good thing is that you get symptoms of copper detox. Well, I did anyway. I mean, this is probably not going to happen for everyone. I'll explain my situation. But you get symptoms of copper detox, but without the massive detox reactions like you did. And obviously, you probably know about my copper detox back in Thailand, and I've had subsequent ones, but much smaller. Well, I feel like I've had the same detox I did in Thailand, with all the symptoms, but much less. And I appreciate I'm 10 years down the line, but when you've been doing this for this long, you just know that it's one of the reasons why it's not as intense is because it's actually bound to something, if that makes sense. But also the amazing thing with this GHK peptide is that it stimulates the production of stem cells. So, I've also had incredible healing, and when copper is really balanced, you have this incredible clarity that I did actually experience back in Thailand, but I was going through tremendously traumatic experience too, which is something that I want to try and get away with on the program. I think this is a potential solution to it. So yeah, it was a bit weird talking about it, because obviously I felt good before I did this patch. But this patch has elevated me to levels that I've not experienced before. And I personally think that this is what Dr. Wilson talks about when he talks about development. I think he has, through doing the program religiously for 20, 30 years, I think he has stimulated this GHK peptide, which has in turn stimulated the production of stem cells, and he's basically regenerated his body to a much younger state. I think that's what he's done. But this is a way of doing that without basically having the program run your life 24/7 for 20, 30 years. I mean, that's just not practical in my opinion. And I think it's the reason why no one's really at Dr. Wilson's level. But I personally think that there's something going off of these patches that basically does that same thing. So yeah, so day one, I had a sore throat, detox symptoms, fatigue. But I had this brain massaging thing that was going on. They say one of the things that it does, this patch, is it stimulates it really works on the brain and the brain stem. I think that's just really powerful brain massaging. But I wasn't that impressed day one. Like I say, I was getting detox symptoms. Day two, I had an extremely deep sleep and very vivid dreams. I've not slept like that for a long time. Again, I don't sleep bad at all. I actually would say I probably sleep above average when it comes to sleep. I sleep well, but this sleep was just tremendously peaceful and deep and just really nice. One of the things this patch also does is stimulate GABA, which sure many of you are aware of. So that was a really amazing thing. But you need to be a bit careful, which I'll talk about further down the line, because like I say, it is binding to copper. But I'll talk about that a little bit more. Day 3, I started to feel great. My hearing improved. Again, like I say, I wouldn't consider myself to be. I would consider myself to be in good health, great health probably. So all these is like building on top of what I already had. But my hearing improved, which was, crazy. This is day 3. My third eye and my energy in my head like lifted up a vibration. Just that was crazy. My breathing improved. Just super clear, really clear breathing. And this is one of the things that it does. It literally can heal emphysema, COPD, this patch, because of the stem cell therapy and mobilising copper, which is basically what we've done. I mean, this is done on the program in 5 days that I was been trying to do on the program basically forever. And obviously I made fantastic progress, but this is, the philosopher's stone as far as I'm concerned. My sinuses opened up. It's actually doing some more healing on there at the moment. That's why I'm sniffling a little bit. But my sinuses opened up, which is interesting because when you do mobilise copper, that's one of the things is sinuses just open up. So my sinuses opened up even more. This is day 3. Day 4, my vision improved. Well, not my vision. I do have good vision because I had it lasered. But my the colours become much more vivid, which was quite astounding. I had my temple was getting massaged. There was some stem cells, something was going off there, which was amazing. I started getting some testicular pain, which, as many of you know, is a sign of copper detox. But I wasn't getting them horrendous copper detox symptoms that usually comes with copper detox. I have detox copper. I think it was last year or a couple of years ago, and I did have bad symptoms. It wasn't a pleasant experience whatsoever. It was nowhere near as bad as what it was 8 years ago, but it still wasn't a pleasant experience for me. And I'm not saying it is pleasant using the patches. It's not like, well, I suppose it is pleasant because in between the little detox, you're just feeling like unbelievable. But this is obviously not going to happen to everyone. But hopefully by me explaining how everything works, you can see the potential of this particular product. I had jaw healing, and then I got some lung tightness at night. Something was going off in my lungs, but I could feel it was healing. Something was going off in my lungs, so I did get tightness in the night. Day 5, I woke up at 6 a.m, which is unlike me. I wake up at 8 a.m. I usually need around 8 hours of sleep for me to function well. But I woke up at 6 a.m, completely refreshed. That was astounding because it never really happened to me before. I woke up feeling energetic. I woke up feeling refreshed. Like I say, I do usually wake up feeling refreshed and fine and energetic. This is normal for me, but this was on a different level, completely different level. And it has given me a much more appreciation of the word development. But I think it's so difficult to get to Dr. Wilson's level. You have literally got to live like a monk, and I think that this is something that could speed that whole process up. What's interesting is the inventor David Schmidt. I heard him talk about, and he was like, look, I haven't developed this. This is from God. I was praying to God for this. So him saying that was a really big, white flag for me. I was like, wow, this guy, he's really connected. And I personally feel that this is from God. It's basically a miracle what's happened. I'm hyping it up so much, I think, because as a practitioner, I know how incredibly difficult it is to mobilise copper. And, I'm not saying that everyone, we do need to be a little bit careful. We need more research and, studies about how this is going to react to people on the programme and how people are going to react to this in certain patterns. I am a mild fast oxidizer at the moment. we do need extra copper. So I probably, my cell permeability is probably more than other people, but it's got huge potential. Another thing is that if people are going through a copper detox, which is horrendous, I think that this patch could help, because if you're stimulating the GHK peptide, and literally this happens within 10 minutes, it's so fast, that could potentially bind onto that copper very, very, very quickly, and help people in that situation. It could pull out more, so we need to do some research into that. But that could be very helpful, because that's been one of the challenges for me as a practitioner on the program, is trying to get people to not be traumatized by the copper dump, and this could be a solution to that. So anyway, day 5, I felt very grounded in the afternoon, very clear-headed. My mind felt even sharper. My breathing was very, very clear. Afternoon, I dipped a little bit, felt like there was some other healing reaction going, a little fatigued. Stomach felt like it was going through deep healing. Now, I think that what is happening is candida die-off. That's what happens. But I didn't get the big, horrendous other reactions I got. But I was definitely detoxing something deep in my stomach. But if you think about all the symptoms of copper detox, testicular pain, killing off candida in the stomach, I did have some shoulder pain, all that's related to copper detoxification. But I feel like I was removing copper. Well, I'm 100% certain, because that's what it does, but I wasn't having the intense detoxification symptoms because of that, because the GHK was bound to this copper, allowing it to be mobilized. I got some energy healing around the jaws, and this is where it went downhill for me. So, it's working on my nostrils at the moment. I can feel it. It's crazy. So one of the practitioners said that when he lost his sexual fluids, he recovered much quicker. Now, I haven't lost my fluid for about 3 months, and I know that usually when I do lose it, I don't have any issues. I sometimes feel a bit tired, but anyway, I ended up having sex and lost my sexual fluid, and it completely wiped me out. I'm not quite sure why. I think maybe because there was a lot of copper in the blood, the zinc I had was balancing it out. All of a sudden my body needed to remove zinc elsewhere to regenerate the semen, and I just think there was an imbalance there in the blood, and I had to go to bed and woke up feeling much better. But anyway, day 6, which is today, I haven't had the patch on because I'm trying to recover a little bit from yesterday, but just feel fantastic, feel really clear, really grounded. I feel the exact same as what you should feel when you go through a copper reaction after you've gone through the horrendous bit, but it's all happening at the same time, if that makes sense. And the stem cell activation I can still feel happening. My brain is getting massaged, my sinuses are working on my sinuses. I feel light, I feel energetic, happier. And I do feel like I'm developing. Developing's been this murky word, and every practitioner likes to think they know what development is, but I actually feel like my whole being has gone up 10 times, just because copper has been properly mobilized. Obviously, I've done an amazing job with copper balancing, but intuitively I knew there was more to go, and Dr. Wilson talks about it. This is a 15-20 year job, I've been on the program 10 years, 11 years. I still had some more healing to go, but this has just blew my mind completely out of the water. So I need to obviously put a disclaimer in at this point. This is early days, but a lot of practitioners are banging on about it, and I can completely understand the reasons why. Obviously, if you are wanting to start at your own risk. Obviously, try and stay in touch with me, because we need to research it. I can't research it without people actually doing it. They do recommend to take the patches for 12 hours. I personally think that might be too intense for people, and they might want to just do it for maybe 4 hours or 6 hours. Like I say, I've actually stopped the patch today just to let my body catch up a little bit, but I feel brilliant today, and it's, in my opinion, it's because we've managed to mobilise copper. But the thing that's really astounding as well is this stem cell situation. A lot of the testimonials, people are saying that their heart health, 50-year-olds, they've gone and got it tested within 6 months. It's gone to a 20-year-old. People's having liver regeneration. I would hope that would happen to me because of my past liver damage with Accutane and this, that, and the other. COPD, emphysema cured, which is amazing. I have a history of emphysema issues in our family, and I've got to say, my breathing at the moment, I've never felt this before. I didn't think I had a problem. I didn't think I had a problem with my breathing, but wow, this is like completely clear. Never experienced anything like it before in my life. So I'm sure some of you would like to try them. Like I said, go easy on these things. These are super powerful. I do believe you've got to be doing the program whilst you're doing it. You want to be, it makes you want to do the program more, because for me, I was so grateful that I've been given this opportunity to use this technology. I was like, oh my God, I can feel my whole body regenerating now. It's the most craziest sensation for me. I'm not saying this is going to happen to everyone. You kind of want to do the you don't want to do the program even more just to support this process. It's as if some entity has just come down and started doing work on you, but on your whole being. It's like, what is going on? So be gentle with it. Guys, try not to ejaculate while you're doing it. It did really affect me, but I did find taking some zinc and some vitamin C and some choline definitely helped just sort that out. I do personally think that less is more, and that's like it is on the. I know it's so easy. I was the same. I was like, right, I'm going to wear the patch for 16 hours, and it just really sped the process up like massively. But I don't want people to have like, I do know a practitioner who is very coppery, I think, still. And after about 6 hours, he didn't like the patch. He had to take it off because he was too stimulated. I personally think that's the copper in the body. So if you do get like that, I don't think you should be throwing the baby out with the bathwater with this, because I think this could revolutionise things. So I would say just start slower, maybe for a couple of hours, just wear it. So the cheapest way to get this is by setting up a distributor account. You can buy retail if you're struggling. If you go to /LewisR90, you can just like click buy now. Where are we? And you can just buy the patches. But I can feel it all now, just working on my sinuses. It's crazy. But yeah, obviously I want you guys to get as cheap as possible. So I got a distributor account. and you can sign yourself up as distributors. If I haven't really got time to work with you manually, but you can log into my system and set it up for yourself. So if you go to lifewith.com, click login, username, type in Lewis R90, password, type in 123 Lewis / with a capital L. So it's like this. Yep. So click sign in, and then click on organisation, enroll new, and then you basically just will go through this. You'll just do a United States one. You just go through it. You can click this enrolment kit selection. So you've got to click the bronze one, because that's the one that's going to come with 2 patches. So you can just try that one for now. But yeah, because you got a distributor, you can sort of like go up levels and this, that, and the other. But this is not real. This is not about like money or anything. This is just technology that, you know, I need to just get it out there a little bit and get people using it a little bit, because it's just absolutely mind blowing what's been going off. But yeah, because you are a distributor, you can go and cite, you know, you can get patches for other people, because I'm pretty sure a few of you, if you've experienced anything like what I've experienced, you're going to want to like go and share it. So you can actually make money off it, which is a good for business, but at the end of the day, like really focusing on health, so that's the main thing. So you click select on the bronze enrollment, and then you're going to get the LifeWave X39 patches. Those are the main ones. There's other patches you can get too, like glutathione, which I've heard is really, really good, which does a similar thing, but it like increases glutathione, which is really, really helpful for liver detox and other things. But you just go through this system, click continue. Would you like to get a monthly subscription? You can set that up later if you want. You know, try them out first, I think. So pop in all your details. Just go through all this. Join a mailing list if you want to. Pop in your address. Make a username and password for your own distributor account. Pop all this in, and then all your billing details. Yada yada yada. Click submit. So that's it really. I'm really excited about this product. I don't want you to get too excited, because obviously this is not my experience. It's going to be different for everyone. The thing is with stem cells is wherever there's an issue on the body, it'll go and try and find that. Most of the people listening to this video will have some sort of copper toxicity, so you got to be careful with it. If it's too intense, stop the patch. And that's what's good about this patch, though. You literally can turn on and off this peptide. Boom, boom, boom. Do you know what I mean? Like with the program, it's a long, arduous approach. There is an argument on the program, which would be, you know, the program does everything in its own time. The body does things in its own time. Correct. But I will say, as a practitioner, it is quite frustrating working with the program, because balancing out copper is so difficult, and it just takes so much effort for people. And you know, the amount of people that quit the program because they just can't make it is just phenomenal. And I've always thought in my head, if there's something that we can do just to price copper out a little bit easier, just to get it to come out a little bit easier, then that would be great. But a downside of the program, in my opinion, is that when copper does dump, there's nothing there really to catch it. So you get massive oxidative stress and issues with the body, you know, and it can traumatize people, and that's really been a difficult thing as a practitioner to deal with, because there's nothing you can really do. But with this, what we're doing is we're stimulating a peptide that binds to copper, and then that peptide goes and grabs the copper. So you do get the detox reactions a little bit, but nowhere near as intense. But But then you also get this stem cell activation from the GHK, which is, you know, amazing. I mean, that's what development's all about, in my opinion. Is it not regenerating the body to its younger state? How has Dr. Wilson done that? I personally think this is an element to that. But we can basically turn on that process now, in my opinion. It's so exciting. So just humble yourself a little bit. I know it's probably hard listening to this video. Humble yourself. You know, I'm not saying this is going to happen to everyone. Be cautious. Make sure you're doing the program. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Please stay in touch with me if you do decide to do them, because I need to figure out how this is going to affect people. But yeah, that's everything. Let me know. Catch you all soon. Ciao.